the invisible structure or the invisible infrastructure that determines whether your business is going to grow with you, or it's going to stay stuck at the level that you are currently today. Welcome to the Fear Forward CEO, the podcast for business owners who are ready to build trust, generate referrals, and scale with smart systems and AI. I'm Tonya Gossage, and each week we talk leadership, growth, relationships, visibility, and practical strategies that move forward with confidence. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back to the Fear Forward CEO podcast. I'm Tonya Gossage, and today is episode 5. We're going to talk about something that every CEO needs to know, and almost none of the CEOs that I know have built this out, and it's called systems. We won't talk much about software and apps and tools, but the systems that I'm going to be talking about today is the way that you actually run your business. That's the systems that I want to talk about today. And it's the invisible structure or the invisible infrastructure that determines whether your business is going to grow with you, or it's going to stay stuck at the level that you are currently today. So here's what is most common that I hear from most of the CEOs that I'm having conversations with, and it is, Tonya, I know that I am the bottleneck of my business. And if you said, yes, that's me too, you're in your head right now. And this episode is going to be for you. So let me just tell you something that took me a long time to figure out. Back when I was in corporate banking and leading multiple departments at once, I had 22 direct reports when I left. And I'm going to tell you something about these 22 people. Almost every single one of them could have stepped in my role when I left. And I trained them just like that on purpose. Number one, I wanted all of them to succeed. And number two, when I was out of the office, I did not want to worry for anything. I wanted every single step, every single task, everything to be taken care of when I was not there. I wanted everything to be able to run just like it needed to run whenever I was there. And it wasn't because people needed me to be there and me always training them. It was, I felt good that I could leave and know that everything was going to be okay. Because the systems existed whether I was there in the room or not in the room. We had things in place, and I learned it a long time ago when the bank president said to me one day in one of my evaluations. He said to me, Tonya, I can't promote you to the next role because you don't have anybody to take your place. And I have to tell you, that hit me right here in the forehead. And I was like, oh no, that's not going to happen. We're going to have a plan in place, and people are going to know how to do my job soon. And that weekend, I got a plan for people to know how to do my job, and not only know how to do my job, but they were going to have a plan to do each other's job. There was going to be some cross training that took place. So that didn't happen to me, and it didn't happen to other people in the department that wanted to move up, because I was the type of person that there was not going to be anybody left behind. And so I made sure going into that next week that I had a plan. And what that means is that those 22 direct reports, they did not only know how to do my job, but they were cross-trained in multiple other people's positions too, because I got tired of seeing other people in the bank that in other departments, in other retail banking offices where people would leave and there was nobody to do their job, and that took forever. So that just wasn't going to happen. And so how does that relate to you? You don't want that happening in your company. So if you are the bottleneck, you've got to find somebody that can start learning bits and pieces of your role. And so if you don't have somebody, then we've got to come up with other tools and systems that can actually do those things for you. And so you want a business that runs on systems, not on you. A business that does not collapse when you go on vacation. And a business that scales because it has an infrastructure, not just because you work harder every single year. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if that is what is happening in your position today. You are going to absolutely burn out. You're going to hit the wall of frustration. How do I know? I've been there. I've done that. I've watched many other people, CEOs, executives, managers, do that very same thing. And so there's 4 systems as a leader, as a CEO, that you have to build and document. And they are non-negotiables. One of those is a lead generation system. You have to have that. You have to know, or I ask you, where are your leads coming from today? How are you growing? If you can't answer that question, then we have a problem. You are living on a hope strategy if that's what's happening today. A lead generation system tells you where your ideal clients find you. Again, where are they coming from? What's the first step of the relationship? Where is it coming from? And how do you move somebody from a stranger to a warm prospect? And I'm trying to think. There's a friend or an individual, it says, I take a stranger and make them a friend. Let's see, how does that go? Take a stranger and make them a friend, and friend to a family member. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly how it goes. Maybe it'll come to me while we're still here this evening. But you want to take strangers and make them friends, and then you want to turn friends into family. You want to turn those into great connections and make them family. There's one more line to that, and it's completely left me. But what happens after you make a touch point? There's got to be a next step. And for most of the business owners and the CEOs that I work with, the answer that you should be telling me is you turn them into relationships and referrals. They become warm introductions, not paid ads. I tell people all the time, you do not have to do paid ads. Somebody told me the other day they spent money on paid ads and ran it for 3 days. And I said, what did you get out of it? What do you think? 0. Why? Why did you waste your money on doing that? When we can build your visibility and authority and get so much more from your time and energy than what you did with paid ads. I'm not saying paid ads don't work. Please do not take it that way. You are going to get some bang for your buck, but you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know. ChatGPT just came out. Was it last week with paid ads? I have to say I'm intrigued. I am intrigued, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to test it. I've gone through the process to sign up. I've not even gotten the approval yet. I know that there's a wait list. And I actually made an error in my sign up for my time zone. I'm probably not going to get approved. I'm probably going to have to redo the process. But anyway, you don't have to spend all of that money initially. And first of all, you've got to have an audience to talk to. If your audience is not there, why pay the money? The system is built around consistent visibility. You've got to do that first before you ever consider running those ads. So here's what you need to do first. Get in the right rooms with the right people. Build that first. You're going to get more bang for your profit. I was on a call today with somebody, and he was telling me, Tonya, thank you so much for leading on Alignable. He said, I'm getting so much from that platform right now. I'm meeting so many people. I'm getting so many partnerships. I'm getting so many conversions. And I said, I completely understand. For 3 years, that platform fed my business. 3 years. Now, actually, I've not worked it as hard as I'm working another platform. And another platform is what's feeding me this year. It's where you spend your time. I'm being honest. It's where you spend your time. System number 2, the follow-up system. Money is in the follow-up. I don't care what industry you're in. You have to follow up. Follow-up is where you're going to close deals. And it's where relationships are centered and cemented. You have to follow up. I follow up. I will be honest with you, I do not have a consistent, I'm going to follow up in 2 days, then I'm going to follow up in 5 days, and then I'm going to follow up in 2 weeks. I do not have that consistency in place, but I do follow up. I sent a follow-up message this morning to someone and said, because I knew he wasn't taking his peptides, and I said, your morning accountability partner, the clock is dinging. It's time to take your peptides. That did so much good. And I was able to text back and forth and invite them out to dinner. And I don't even want to go into all of it, but I cannot tell you how much goodness came out of that. Ding, ding, ding. It's time to take your peptides. And so the follow-up, the fortune is in the follow-up, guys. You've got to do follow-up. Most business owners follow up once, maybe twice, and then they let things go cold. And then you've got to start all over. You got to start the process all over. That's with things that you're trying to work, but you also have to follow up with your current existing base that you have, your clients, your customers. You got to follow up with them too. You can't treat them like a number and say, got them, now they're history, they'll be okay. No, you have to nurture. So maybe have a follow-up rhythm. As I just mentioned, mine is not a consistent, but maybe you do a first touch in 24 hours, then check in 3 to 5 days, add a value message in 2 weeks. If that's what's going to help you stay consistent with your people, implement it. Just be consistent with something. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, but you have to follow up. And don't pitch. Just follow up. Don't pitch. Maybe send something that says, hey, I thought of you when I seen this. I was thinking of you the other day when I saw something. Tag them in a post, thinking of you as I saw this. It can be anything to start conversations. A voice note, a congratulations. Are you staying present with this system? Just like I said, ding, ding, ding. It's time to take your peptides. How are they going for you? Whatever your system is, just do the follow-up. It matters. It matters to them. I drove by a bank just yesterday, I believe it was, and there was a note on the, not the kiosk, that's on the inside, on their little billboard thing, marquee, on their marquee, and it said, and I loved it. I wanted to put my vehicle in reverse and go back and get a photo of it, but it says, you have a name inside here. And I was just telling somebody that you feel like you don't have a name at a bank anymore. You've become a number. And then I drive by that bank and it says, you have a name here, inside here. And I went, they get it. They get it. People feel like they no longer have a name inside the bank. We feel like numbers. And that meant so much to me. So it's the small things that mean things to people. Follow up. Follow up. It's so big. Okay, so delivery system. That's number 3. You've got to have a delivery system. What does your client experience look like? From the moment that they say yes to the moment they become a raving fan. So the onboarding process, what does that look like? So me running 2 businesses, my onboarding process is different for each one. But what does that look like for you? And is your client happy with that? What is their experience? It lives entirely not only in your head, but in their head. And that's something you can't delegate. If you're the one closing the deal, you can't delegate that necessarily, but you can have a strategy, or you can have a system or a process that you teach your people to mimic what you do. But it's all about the experience. And that experience needs to be carried on. And the customer needs to feel like it was magical or whatever. They need to feel good. But what does your document process or delivery process look like? Step by step. Have that documented. Just like my 22 team members, they knew what to do. They could follow a process. They could replace me when I was gone. The client should know what to expect and when to expect it. Just like if they order something, I tell them, you're going to have this within 7 to 10 days. Or if I'm building them a dashboard, a CRM, an AI dashboard or CRM, I'm going to have this done in 3 phases. Phase 1 looks like this. And my expectation is to have it delivered to you by when? Phase 2, we're going to work on this. And my expectation is to have it to you by when? And so, what do you produce? Excuse me. How it gets produced, and when are you going to deliver it? And what is the follow-up or the follow-through checkpoints? When is it documented, and how is it documented, and how is it delivered? I do checklists. I walk through those with my clients. but focus on your relationships and the growth of the work that actually needs you, and delegate the rest. Okay, system number 4, the content and visibility system. You need to be consistently visible to your people and who can buy from you, refer you, and partner with you. Wherever that needs to be done, if it's in networking events, if it's on social, I don't know, wherever, you know that. But wherever that is, you need to be visible. It doesn't mean that you're posting 400 times a day. Maybe it's only a couple of times a week, once a day. Whatever your cadence is, just be there. Be clear. Have a sustainable content strategy or show up strategy if it's to events. But stay in front of your people regularly. They want to see you. They want to hear from you. They want to know what you've got going on. They want you to deliver value to you. But just pick a couple of places of where your people are and show up consistently and provide value in some way every single time. But your content should do at least 3 things. Show your people who you are, show them what you know, and show them who you serve. And every piece of content that you create does at least one of those 3 things. You don't have to do all 3 of them every single time, but at least do one of those 3 things. Occasionally, let them know what you're building, what you're doing. Keep them involved in your world. Does that make sense? They want to know. They want to know who you are and what you're up to, what you're building. How does it impact them? How can they be involved? They want to do it with you. And so here's a bottleneck diagnostic, if you will. And if you will, I shouldn't have to say this, if you will answer these honestly, if you took a 2-week vacation starting tomorrow, would your business be able to continue to move forward without you there? Yikes. Would it be? I know I could pretty much take off and my 2 VAs could run it without me. If someone joined your team today, could your team, if you had a team, could they train a replacement? I feel like mine could pretty much do the majority of it. They would have some questions, but I think it could survive until I got back. Definitely think it could survive. Excuse me. Do you know exactly where your last 5 clients came from? I do. I know where mine came from. Do you know where yours came from? If not, pay more attention. Be more aware. Have systems in place to document. If you don't have them, get them. Build them. Use AI to build them. If you don't know how to build them, get into my world. Join the powerconnectors.org. Would love to have you in my world. But if your answer is no to any of these, you have definitely identified your starting point. This is where I want you to start building first. Systems are not the opposite of relationships. Systems is exactly what helps make relationships begin to scale. Wow, that's big. It's needed. And when you have systems, You have time to show up for the people who matter. I hear people say all the time, I don't have time. I want to say, then you don't have systems in place. You don't. But when you have systems, you have energy to do the work that actually needs you. When you have systems, you have a business that grows the infrastructure that can hold your growth. Wow. When you have systems in place, you have the infrastructure that can hold your growth. This morning I was adding on to an architect that I built through Claude. Anyway, I was telling it at the end, and obviously it can't do it perfect because like right now while I'm recording a podcast, it doesn't know that I'm recording a podcast because that's not on my calendar. Because I was supposed to be doing a guest interview and that did not follow through for me on Friday, so I'm doing this today. But when I was building out or making some edits to the artifact, I said at the end of every day at 6:30, I want you to share with me on my daily brief what all I did throughout the day. I want to know at the end of every day how I spent time throughout the day being productive. I want to know if I wasted time or I worked on revenue producing activities based upon all the work that I did. So in my artifact, I have my calendar. So it's going to look at my calendar. It's going to look at the emails that I answered and replied to. It's going to look at everything that's in there. It's going to know the time that I spent in Claude working on things, building out code, working on projects for my clients, and just doing other things in Claude. I ask it to build out all of the things that I did in Claude. And if I were off chasing rabbits, then I want to know if I'm chasing rabbits. But I want a summary of what I worked on throughout the day. And that way I can determine on a daily basis if I'm spending time working towards my annual goals. I have a goal by the end of this year. Did I work on those or did I not? And if I didn't, then for the next day, I've got to make sure I stayed more focused. And so those are systems. That's a system that I have in place. And so that's what I want you to understand. This is what we're building here in the Power Connectors. Not only are we connecting with people and getting referrals, and we're finding out who each other's ideal client is, and we're referring each other in these referral power hours, and we're masterminding and we're doing roundtables, but we're also learning how to build out your systems. And so I love what we're building. I love what we're building. And so again, if you're not a part of that, go to the powerconnectors.org. You'll see the website there. If you looked at it before and you're like, I'm not interested, you need to look at it again, because I built a whole new website that shares with you exactly what is taking place in there. So you'll be able to see the rooms. You'll be able to determine whether you want to be a part. It will send you over to the platform called School so that you can actually join the meeting rooms. There's not much in School that tells you about what we do. It's more or less just the community side of it and how to access the rooms when we meet and the calendar. And so that will be much further built out. But come and join us. I would love to have you. And this is just going to continue to build. I've brought many of those meetings off of the Alignable platform that I was doing 16 of a month. I'm bringing that off of that platform and bringing it into the Power Connectors. So I love what we're building. And we'll be talking a lot about all these things. There's no hype. We're getting rid of the fear, just strictly referrals and practical application and how to use these AI tools to become more human and build more efficiency in your business, not less. So until then, I want you to continue to build trust, make connections count, and I want you to fear forward. So until next week, I cannot wait to see you on the inside of the Power Connectors. Talk to you again soon. Bye.